Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 5 of Hill to Die On podcast. Remember, there are timestamps in the description and comments below, so feel free to skip to whatever part of the episode you want to see. Please follow us on all our social media at The Hill to Die On, and that is all lowercase. All right, enjoy the show.
Boat I found in the local shipyard, a 1.
Welcome, everybody, to episode 5 of the Hill to Die On podcast. I'm your host, Matthew Rios, and I'm here with my co-host, the astronomically gifted Alessandro Kamai.
Hello. Okay.
Did you like that?
Yeah, that was really good. The instant I said hello, though, my voice cracked. That was like the first syllable of the podcast.
Well,
Dang.
You've also screamed on the podcast a few times.
I have. That's true.
Yeah.
So.
Well, everybody, welcome. I know it's been a few weeks. Mm-hmm. Sorry, we have been busy with school and all that jazz. I've also been getting some complaints about my editor's notes. And I understand completely. They're too long. I agree. But I do like to keep them in just because.
I'm just imagining this is like 20 minutes into the podcast when they're hearing this, and afterwards you were like, no, I gotta add an editor's note.
Well, so listen, here's the compromise that I'm hoping we can reach. We'll see what happens. I might try a few different things out, like moving the editor's note towards the end, or cutting it down significantly, so like I'm not speaking in like complete sentences, more just a quick rapid fire kind of thing. Mm-hmm. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But we're gonna work on definitely bringing those down. I agree.
Well, okay, here's a real quick problem. Now, when you start the podcast, if it's in the beginning, you'll start off with the new and improved editor's note, and then after that will be the rationale for changing the editor's note and like talking about the complaints. Do we have to reorder it now? Am I thinking too much about this? No.
We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. If need be, we'll move some things around.
Okay.
We'll see how it goes. I forgot to sign up for my phone. I should probably do that.
Ooh.
Anyway, so yeah, we're gonna work on that. We're gonna work on upping the some bits and pieces of the audio quality, some aspects of the video. Hopefully, maybe we can look to improve. Maybe getting some graphics, but that'll be towards the future. So, small steps, small baby steps. What else do I need to talk about? Nothing really.
Do we say what day it is?
Oh, we can.
What day is it?
It's Sunday the 15th, September 15th.
Ooh.
Oh, okay. Also, some heads up. For this episode, some noises you might hear. My roommate is home. He's going to be cooking some dinner. I told him that's all right. But in the event that you hear anything, might be that. The AC or the air ventilation system, that'll be on, so you might hear that. That's about it. That is my editor's note within the podcast.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Bold move.
I'm adapting on the fly.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was cool. That was podcast history right there.
Yeah. I think we can move right into the top of every show that we have, Alex. What have we been up to lately? Ooh. Alex, since coming back from summer vacation, what have you been up to with school?
I have been taking classes. I'm taking, for the first time now, I'm taking like legit physics classes, because like I just got through the bottleneck of Calc 3 and Physics 2, and now I can expand. Well, didn't pass Calc 3, but I passed it this time. Yeah. But I'm taking like 4 physics courses, and like they're all incredibly difficult. And I'm like, oh my god, this is, I knew it was like gonna be hard, but like I didn't realize how bad at math I was. So I've just been, I've been chugging along.
I also had the same problem with the sciences as I grew older. Like I was it was weird. In my physics class, most people were good at the math and they were bad with the conceptual stuff. I was the total opposite. Like, I'm good with the conceptual stuff, like understanding, like, why something is the way that it is. But if you were to give me, like the thing I always cite is momentum. Like, I could not do momentum problems for my life. I knew the concept. Like, I get it. Like, momentum, objects in motion, all that jazz. But you asked me to do momentum question with math. I couldn't. It would just fall apart.
I get that. I feel like I'm kind of the same way, which is maybe my problem too. Like I know a lot of like facts and like big picture things about like space and astronomy, but like, man, the intro to astrophysics class I'm in right now, it makes me dizzy. Like, I'm physically dizzy. By
the math physically makes you dizzy.
Yeah, like I'm sitting there with my mouth wide open the whole time. Like, I didn't know it was this complicated. Oh my god. But yeah, I guess I kind of feel you.
Yeah. I also, I don't know if you're done talking about what
Totally.
you've been up to, but I am also taking 4 or 3 journalism classes this semester. So I am also heavy into my major, and it's kind of exhausting. I need a break from journalism, but
Yeah,
it's just all the time now. It's just all the time.
It's a full-time job and a half.
Yeah. Oh, excuse me. And now I am working in the Columbia Missourian. I am a published reporter. Not that I'm. Thank you. I'm taking a bow.
Yeah.
Not that I'm doing any like breaking news, great stuff. I'm covering a local college and their sports program, but it feels, I don't know. It's a weird feeling. Like I had like a giant smile on my face when I saw it.
Aww.
I was like, oh, because I didn't.
Seeing your first article?
Yeah, see my first article,
Yeah.
and like it was weird. I'm not gonna go into like the whole story or whatever, but like I got it. I had to get it done by like a certain time, and then I was waiting around for somebody to edit it, and they finally got around to me. They edited the stuff, and they were like, oh, "Okay, it's all good. We'll let you know when it goes up. It should be up by tomorrow." I was like, "Okay, awesome, cool." So I was sitting there waiting to get picked up by Jasmine in the newsroom, and I was refreshing the Missourian page to like read over some articles, just to get caught up because you have to be in the know. Mm-hmm. You kind of like tested on it a little bit, and all of a sudden I saw like my headline, and I was like, "Wait, what? It's up already? Like, what the fuck? I thought it was gonna be this morning." Yeah, and it was just such a surreal feeling. I was like, "Holy, there it is!"
I'm on the website. Like,
Oh.
that is crazy.
Yeah, and it's not like the Missourian is some like BS sort of publication. Like now granted, it's worked mostly by students, but the people who own it, it's not the university. It's like a non-for-profit.
Legit paper.
Yeah, and they legit hired, legit journalists from all over to work as editors at the Missourian. Like I work under sports right now. My sports editor, he worked at ESPN, and and doing big stuff. I don't know. He's a big sports writer, but his name is Ben Simmons, I believe, or Bill Simmons. I don't know if you know his name, but he's a big deal in the sports world. So like, my point basically is that it's a legit paper. Like, they're bringing in legit people from all around.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty radical.
So it was just something special. Like, I had done good work before, but I don't know, that in comparison it was small, but I was really proud. I was happy with myself.
Aww. I'm incredibly proud of you.
Oh, thank
that is
you.
super cool. I was about to high five you, but that's right next to the microphone. Should we?
That's
there we
okay.
go.
Oh yeah.
Like a high boot.
Well,
oh yeah.
well,
That's,
there we go.
yeah.
That's all right. This episode's already going to be a disaster because I didn't turn the air ventilation off because I knew I can already feel it. I'm already sweating a little bit.
It's hot. It's hot. Yeah.
It's hot in here.
And you said I'd be sweating on this exercise ball.
And you're not?
I'm not. I feel great.
That's ridiculous. Yeah. I don't believe that.
Ah, it's fantastic.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm sweating already. Normally I try to schedule things with the podcast so that there's the least amount of interruptions as possible. On this one, I just care more about getting the episode out than anything else.
Yeah. Well, there's that guy with the white Mustang, so you.
Oh, and the guy with the white Mustang. Yeah.
Can't control that.
Did you see that now he has a motorcycle?
No.
He has a motorcycle.
He owns the motorcycle.
Yes, and
Oh my
you know what he was doing? Blaring music and he was revving up his engine in the parking lot.
That was him?
That was him.
Oh, no, because I heard that, and I saw that it was a guy on a motorcycle, and I was like, you know what? At least it's a different person.
No, it's the
God
same
damn.
dude.
This guy, yeah. So this semester has been a loud semester. I'm saying that quietly because there are people below us. Are they here? Can they hear us? No.
They probably are here.
Okay.
And they probably can hear us.
Well, we'll get off that. But like, oh my gosh, the guy with the white Mustang, like he just showed up and he oh my god, he pulls out, right? He pulls out and he could easily leave the complex, right, by making a right turn into the driveway. But no, he turns left, goes around the pool, right? It's like 200 feet extra of total noise time, you know? And like oh my god, it just makes me so angry.
It really is a pain in the ass.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not fun. And now that he has the motorcycle, I don't even know what to do with myself.
That's messed up.
Yeah, it's just not a fun time. Did you guys ever go over there and apply the sticky note like you were talking about?
No,
telling him to shut up?
I'm debating. Oh, you know what? I thought it'd be. Kayla and I found an old rusty muffler, like on the side of the road, like a whole exhaust manifold thing or whatever it is. And I was debating, like, genuinely going up to his door and being like, hey, I think you got a really loud car, and I found this on the road, and I read online that this helps, and so if you want, you can have this.
Oh,
you know?
no.
Plain. I mean,
that would have been so bad.
I don't want to. I don't think I should do it.
Yeah,
but
I don't think so.
That guy. That guy. You know,
he's problematic, to say the least.
Yeah, we should start recording our podcast right outside of his bedroom window. That's what we'll do.
Problem is, we don't know where he lives. I mean, we know like the unit, like which building he is, but
that's true.
I don't know which apartment he goes into.
Yeah,
we'll have to record the podcast on his car.
Ah, there we go.
On top of his car.
There we go.
Yeah.
That'd be the second act of vandalism that's been committed so far. Because his like it's a Ford Shelby, and like the Shelby thing with the Cobra or whatever on the back of the car has already been ripped off. It was ripped off like a week into the semester, so that made me kind of happy to see.
Yeah.
But all right, I gotta stop talking shit about this guy. I feel bad.
Oh, don't feel bad. He's kind of a
not a nice person.
At the very least, an unintentional disturbance.
The loop feels pretty intentional. The loop feels intentional. He's.
But just to wrap up, so that's basically what's going on in my life. Mm-hmm. Missouri and a lot of journalism stuff. Also, this does affect the podcast. This would go on the editor's note, by the way. Yeah. But I'll do it now. With the Missourian, now that we have readers who are going to be like looking at our profile and stuff, and I actually have started garnering a following on my reporting account. Ooh. Like a bunch of the families who have kids in the Stevens athletics program, they follow my account to get updates.
Oh, shit,
stuff.
Okay.
So,
wow.
But anyway, all that's to say is because now that I have some public attention on me, and now I'm associated with the Missourian, and I'm linked to the Missourian as a reporter there, they want me to steer away from political topics. So some of the more serious topics we were going to have on the show gonna have to be delayed a little bit, or at the very least, if Alex has anything that he really wants to say about anything, he can totally do that. I just can't really comment. I'll just have to sit here and be quiet, or maybe just go, yeah,
hand
okay,
signals,
oh yeah, just hand signal.
Yeah.
Let Alex know how I feel with my facial expressions. But other than that, yeah, just getting back in the swing of school, and hopefully we can. Get some of those. Oh yeah, we have some guest pods coming up too. We have our friend Michael and our friend Rebecca. 2 separate episodes, not together, and that should be fun. Rebecca says that we are misogynist and sexist, and we don't allow women on our podcast.
I told Matthew to wait till his lawyer was here to talk about this.
Well, I'll follow PR, but all I want to say is. These are some highly disingenuous assertions that are being made by a vile woman.
Wow.
But as soon as she comes on the podcast, we'll be cool. But until then, vile, disingenuous.
I cannot comment on that statement, but
Rebecca actually wants us to she offered. Now she might take that offer back. She wants us to get a little silly. She said she was gonna bring some alcohol for us. So we'll see if that offer stands. Maybe that'll be the olive branch.
Oh, okay.
They were gonna start their own podcast in rebellion with only women.
I mean, you know, so far this has been only men, so
We've only had 2 guests.
Oh, that's true.
Hey, listen,
Yeah.
we're just getting our feet off the ground. And for the record, I wanted Jasmine on the podcast sooner.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Okay.
listen, not my fault, all right? Not my fault. I think that about wraps up everything else. I think we can get into the topics of the show. Is there anything else you wanted to add, Alex?
I
Anything
don't
going
think
on?
so. No. Yeah.
All right, Alex.
Topic time.
Topic time.
Topic time.
If you want,
Yeah.
do you want to do your mini podcast idea first?
If you want, sure. If you want to get that out of the way, because
Is it good or is it bad?
I don't know. Okay, here's my idea.
All right, yeah, we'll get it out of the way. All right, time for Alex's mini podcast. What do we got today?
Okay, so, welcome to Alex's mini podcast, where Matthew takes a shot glass and fills it with a couple of different liquids of his choice, and then he has me smell it and see if I can guess what's inside.
That is not what is happening right now. What the?
No. You don't like it?
Well, no, we could do that, but we don't have a shot glass.
Oh, yeah, but you can go get one. I figured you could pause in the podcast, or I could do, like, elevator music. I should have told you before.
Yeah,
Probably. But I didn't want to
That's-
sit here and look at it, because,
that's
I
alright.
could maybe smell it. I didn't want to be influenced.
All right, so what do you want me to do? You want me to grab a shot glass?
Yeah, and, like, put some stuff in it, and we can see, Trust me, all the podcasts are doing this. Okay.
It's a challenge.
Yeah, it's called
It's a YouTuber challenge.
Yeah. It's called the
So
smell
I'm
it.
getting a shot glass, and I'm filling it up with different liquids.
Mm-hmm. Whatever you want, Don't make it too complicated. And then I guess we can see if because at first I was like, I could drink it and then see if I can tell what's in it, but that could be gross, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't.
That could be very gross.
But yeah. You think,
All right, I'll do it. I'll be right back. I'll make this quick.
okay, I'm gonna fill in for Matthew while he's gone.
I might just delete this thing.
Oh, okay. Well,
delete your filling.
we'll see. Oh, this is gonna be cool. Matthew's not gonna hear this until he edits. Oh gosh. He's gonna have to edit this out because I can't think of anything. I hope he doesn't though. Hi everybody who's listening. Ooh, I got an idea. All right. Hey Matthew, how's it going? Here I go. I move over to his seat. Oof. Ah. Oh, it's going pretty good, Alessandro. I'm just just here podcasting with you, because you're a very good co-host of this podcast, and I think you're doing a great job. And actually, Alessandro, I wanted to tell you that I think your decision to sit on an exercise ball this time was really commendable. I commend your bravery. And I just, I'm sitting here like on my, however much money I paid for this nice gaming chair, and I'm looking at your exercise ball and I'm thinking, wow, that looks really comfortable. Huh? What? You got something for me? All right. Well, that's the end of this. Matthew's back. But thank you, Matthew.
I'm gonna have to grab it.
Huh? Oh shit. Okay.
So I don't spill it. Watch out.
Okay. I'm gonna try not to look at it. Okay. It's on the table, and I'm gonna close my eyes now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're good. Oof. Gonna cleanse my palate by smelling some water. Oh yeah.
I promise it's safe to drink.
Safe to drink.
And I'm going to advise that you probably drink some of it.
Really?
Because you might not be able to gather anything from the smell.
Okay. Should I go for it?
Go for it.
All right. Oh, there's creamer. Oh, yeah. There's creamer. Hang on.
I put 3 things in.
Three things.
Say. Yeah, I put 3 things in.
Soy sauce?
No,
No? What?
no, I didn't put soy sauce.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious. I did not put soy sauce.
Hang on, smelling things is hard. I'm running out of breath.
That's a good idea, though. I should have done
Creamer
that.
and soy sauce? Oh, you mean for not for drinking. That's yeah. Okay, we got creamer. Chocolate milk. Yeah.
Sort of, yes. Yes.
I don't know. I smell something really familiar. There's a third thing, I swear to God, and I don't know what it is, but I've smelled it before.
Why don't you take a sip?
Ah, damn it. Okay. Here I go. Ooh. Oh. Ooh. Is there alcohol in that?
No.
No? Okay. Creamer. What? That was the second sip. Wow, it actually tastes really good.
Does it?
Yeah. Okay.
I
so I was right.
thought it smelled bad.
Really?
Personally, yeah.
I kind of like the smell. Okay, wait. So I was right about creamer and chocolate milk, but you said sort of in chocolate milk?
It was a cashew.
Cashew chocolate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh yeah, Callum likes that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know what the third is. Let me do one more. Yeah, I got no idea.
2% milk.
2% milk. Oh man.
It was all milk products.
Wow, that was okay.
Yeah, 2% milk, hazelnut creamer. I was surprised that you got creamer right away.
Yeah. Smelled it.
And then there was the cashew chocolate milk.
Okay, that's not bad at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was expecting like orange juice and like hot sauce.
Oh
or
no,
something.
we don't. But that would have been good. I
Yeah.
should have gotten wacky with it, but I kept it on a theme evidently.
That was. I got 2 out of 3, so that's not bad.
Yeah.
And it looks like something goes to the creamer's heavy, right? That's why that's going to the bottom.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think so.
You want to taste? It's not bad. It's really not bad. He drank it. Yeah, right.
I think that's mainly the creamer. I think the creamer overpowers everything else.
Damn.
That's why creamer mixes well with vodka.
Oh.
Tried it once.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Did you ever let me try that? Have I tried that? I don't remember what. Did I have an opinion?
I think I did have you try. I know. By the way, I wouldn't actually advise that as a drink. That sounds like it would be just drinking it over a long period of time. I think would be disgusting. But just having it as a little shot, creamer mixed with vodka, very good. I think I had you, Callum, and Michael try it. Oh, and Jasmine. Jasmine, of course, didn't like it because she.
I don't even remember it. So, did I like it? I might have just erased it from my memory.
You might have.
Yeah.
You might. It honestly tastes like that.
Well, I guess that wasn't
just tastes
bad.
like creamer. Yeah.
Wow. Well, look at that. I think you've invented a pretty cool new drink.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Call it
just multiple milks.
multiple.
M&Ms. Although I think I get sued for that one.
I don't know. It's worth a shot.
All right. That was Alex's mini podcast, I think.
Yeah, be sure to tune in for more of that. There's more where that came from for sure,
At least it's different every time. So,
Yeah.
you never know what you're going to get. All right, Alex. Now let's move on to the actual topics.
Okay. Me topic or you topic?
That's what I was going to ask.
Okay.
I'll let you pick.
Okay.
Who do you want to go first?
Oh, God. You go first. Do you want me to go first? It looks like
All
you
right.
want me to go first.
No.
Oh, okay.
I was waiting. I was just pausing for suspense.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
totally fine with going first. If you want to go first, you can go first. If you want me to go first, I'll go
I
first.
feel like mine's still kind of half baked, so maybe I'll keep baking it. Keep baking it as you do yours.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds good. All right, so I have a notebook here. I'm ready to go. Partially. I actually should probably go back and read the case I'm referring to here. But
Wow, this is in depth.
we'll get around to that.
Wow.
Yes, I have a
Is
court
this gonna be on
case.
the exam?
Yes.
Oh, shit.
Yes, it
Okay.
is.
Wow.
So, a long while ago, me and Alex got into a bit of a discussion. And I will bring that discussion back here to you all today. By the way, this is just safe enough that I think I can get away with it in terms of politics,
All right.
quote unquote. So as we all know, in the country right now, there is sort of, it's not the biggest issue right now, I would say, but I think it's one that keeps cropping up. There's been some debate on the far extremes of the spectrum about free speech, where and when you can't do that sort of thing, what you can say. And one area that's been in some legal areas recently has been social media. Can the government come in and regulate social media? Because as we all know, more and more of the world is getting wrapped up in social media. Out of all the social media platforms out there, Twitter is easily the most influential one. And when I was talking with Alex, I was normally, as I've said before in the show, I'm a libertarian kind of dude. You know, I like small government. I think for the most part, the government should stay out of my goddamn business and others' business, personally, for the most part. Not totally like free market kind of capitalist kind of person, but again, libertarian. But when I thought about this more and more and more, I was like, man, I think the government needs to regulate Twitter, come in and step in, and maybe view Twitter as a public forum. Now, at the time, I don't know if Alex's opinions or feelings have changed about this, but at the time, he actually surprised me, and he said, no, the government shouldn't do that. The position that I would normally take. We kind of swapped roles, and I actually was for it. But now, and back then it was sort of more of like a hunch. But now I got some things that I think further entrenched my beliefs a little bit.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know if you want me to get right into it or
go for it. Unless you had more stuff to say.
I can get right into it.
Okay.
So I am
Sorry, as a quick note, Callum's cooking something and it smells good. Good job, Callum. It smells nice. Sorry, I just was getting distracted by that. I just had to comment.
I believe he's cooking some fish. I don't remember what fish it is.
Oh, okay.
Cooking some fish.
Oh, he's got some fish to fry. Does it count as a joke? It's just an expression that I said funny with it.
Well, yeah, I guess it does count as a joke. You use the expression in a way that people wouldn't expect.
Okay. This is your fish to fry. That's your fish to fry.
This is my fish to fry.
Notebook.
Yes, this is my hill to die on. Now, Jack Dorsey, the CEO of Twitter, has come out and said that he wants Twitter to be like a public forum. He wants to turn the platform into a public forum. Now, when me and Alex were debating about this, now let me know if I misrepresent you in any way, shape, or form, but I believe the gist of your argument was, social media, it's a private company. It's more of a, when it comes to social media, that's more of a, I don't know, for lack of a better word, it's a social thing. It's not really something the government should step in on.
Private entity.
Yeah, private entity kind of deal. Yeah, and that could establish some. I always have trouble saying this word. Precedent. Yeah, I always fuck it up with president.
It's close.
Yeah. So, and that could establish some things in law that might be troublesome, might open up the door for government to go into other areas. And I agree that could be problematic. But I think with Jack Dorsey coming out with two things. Jack Dorsey coming out and saying basically that Twitter is working towards being a public forum for people on the internet.
What is a public forum? Define public forum.
Okay. I don't have a definition for you, at least a proper one off the top of my head. I could maybe give you some, my half-baked definition.
Well, so I was wondering, do you mean more like just like the more wishy-washy definition, or like public as in like public transportation is called public transportation because it's owned by the government?
Definitely not the strict definition of the word. More of like a wishy-washy definition, and I'll give you my wishy-washy definition of just a place where the public can go to discuss things, meet up. Obviously, since it's on the internet, not really meeting up. But so him saying that, Jack saying that he wants Twitter to be a public forum, and then on top of that, Twitter being such an important place where journalists are breaking news, government officials are posting like official updates, almost as if they were news releases, or like the word isn't coming to me, but forget it. Like they're posting official information, announcements, and news releases and things like that, right? Where they do it on other platforms, but Twitter really is the main place. So, and there's recently been a legal battle with Trump, if you know, about him, I think, like blocking somebody or somebody blocking. No, I think it was him blocking somebody.
Oh yeah.
And they took him to court. And the court ruled that because he's using the Twitter account to post like news releases and announcements about the country, he is not allowed to do that because people have a right to see it. And they are recently appealing the Trump administration or Trump's camp is appealing the decision. But at the moment, the court stands in favor of whoever was suing Trump, right? I think all of that is to say, along with Marsh versus Alabama, which I probably should have ahead of time read the case. I have to look for it. But because Twitter has come out and said that they're trying to be a public forum, and there's now laws are being established of being in favor, I think we can make a special case for Twitter about the government coming in and not like full-blown taking over Twitter, but maybe passing some laws specifically for social media platforms that are trying to be public forums. Like, I wouldn't implement regulations on a platform like Instagram or like YouTube or Tumblr, although Tumblr's kind of dead. But things like that. Maybe Facebook. Maybe I don't really think so. I think really the main thing I'm talking about is Twitter, because that's where everybody's at least in terms of news. Alex, I will give you a chance to throw some thoughts out while I look for this Marsh versus Alabama.
Oh, okay. I'm still baking some thoughts. So
That's all right.
But it's interesting. I'll be honest. Oh yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I have briefly scribbled here. Twitter offers same function as a public forum, so potential regulation.
Okay.
I'm just throwing it out there.
Relevant note.
Yeah.
I totally forgot that we had this conversation, and I remember now. When was it? It wasn't that long ago.
It was like a year ago.
Oh,
I think.
okay.
It wasn't too long ago, but there was definitely enough time that.
Okay.
Oh, I'm such a dingus. It's right here. Sorry. All right, I have it in my notes. Marsh versus Alabama, 1946, U.S. Supreme Court. It involved a company-owned town. It was a private
company-owned town.
Yeah, it was. All right, so there. I'm starting to jog my memory a little bit. There was I think it was like a mining town or like a railroad town or something like that, and because they needed workers there, the company built basically a town. They built stores, houses, roads, a mail office or a post office. A police state. Like, they built everything you need for a town. It was basically a town in everything but name, right? And they had workers there, and over time, families moved in and things like that, and all this jazz. So, and it was an extension of a private factory, but at some point, I forgot exactly what the matter was. People wanted to protest in the town, but the company said no, it's private property, because they technically owned everything, and they shut that shit down. Excuse my French. But the court ruled that if the privately owned town provided everything similar to a public town, like if it was exactly the same, then they have to offer some of the same rights and benefits as a public town. So my thing is, I think you could. It's not a strong argument, I'm not going to lie. But I think you could make the argument that Twitter offers a lot of the same things as a generic public forum could and does in a town or like a park or wherever. So I think that is a potential avenue to get some regulation in there. And again, nothing like serious, more of like rules about like blocking people and muting people and things like that. Of course, it does open up an avenue of, well, then if somebody wants to use Twitter and then they get harassed, there'd be maybe a problem. But then they have the mute button. They just have the mute button where like they can still see your stuff, but you mute them. I don't know.
It's in the same family of as blocking, I guess. I don't know how.
I think the only difference is that the person you mute can still see you, whereas if you block somebody, they can't see your stuff. Yeah. Well, unless you like I have a celebrity that's blocked me on Twitter. I've said this a couple of times. I'm not gonna get into it right now, but I've been blocked by a celebrity, a minor celebrity on YouTube, or not YouTube. I'm sorry, Twitter. And if I ever really care to see what he's saying, I can just type in on Google his thing and then just not log into my Twitter account, and I can see everything he posts. So it's not like a huge deal to me. But yeah, if there's a public account that's that blocks you, you could do that. But anyway, yeah. So that brings maybe some things into question. But I don't know. I'm feeling a bit. I don't know. I'm feeling a bit. How would you say? Like, this is not normally my where I usually land on the political spectrum. Like, this is definitely.
You're on a different hill.
Yeah, I'm on a different hill. Like, I'm on. I guess technically, I think the left side of the hill, a little more government hands-on, I would say. So yeah, I'm a little more on the left side of the hill, or a left hill. I'm on a left hill. Normally, I'd be on a right or middle. So I don't know. It's something I bring to you, Alex.
Okay. Well, I'll just say real quick. I think it's interesting because like inside, like in the bubble of Twitter and like social media, I think you're still on the right because you're like, ooh, free speech. Like you gotta apply all these things. Like you. It should be a public forum where you can't have too much intervention on Twitter's part. But in order to get to that right hill inside of the social media sphere, universe, dimension, you have to go to the left hill, government-wise, and get the government to do that to Twitter.
And I think that's why I'm kind of that way. Because that's also another thing that I think Twitter shouldn't do. Like, sometimes I think they ban people, and although... Like, some of them, I can't think of anything really off the top of my head, but I know some of them I've, like, supported, like, oh, yeah, that person should probably not be on Twitter, right? Just like how the government can, within a reasonable standard, they can remove a speaker or a protester or whatever from a public forum. So I think they should still be able to do that. But then there are other people who aren't really, like, I don't think should be deplatformed if you're trying to be a public forum, And I think... And maybe it's wrong for me to do this, but I think it's just the fact that he said it. That the CEO was like, I want this to be a public forum. Like, saying that, just boom. All right, well...
What did he mean by public forum? Do we know what he meant?
In the interview that he was in where he brought that up, they didn't dive into that. He mentioned that as a tangent to whatever they were talking about. So I can't... Unfortunately, I don't have him on speed dial. I can't hit him up. I don't know what exactly he meant by that.
Is Jack Dorsey the minor celebrity who blocked you on Twitter?
No, it was
Can't access him.
It was actually Adam Sessler, if you know who that is. He's a celebrity in the gaming world. I didn't even say anything that bad, but it's whatever. It's
Adam, unblock this man.
Yeah, please, dude.
Unblock this man. He's innocent.
I actually like him a lot. I think he's a cool dude, but I guess whatever.
Well, yeah, that's a bummer. Okay, well, I'll say, do you want to go to me now, or are you still doing your?
You can go to you.
Intro.
Maybe I'll look and see if I have anything else written down. But that was the basic gist of it. I think that it might be something to consider.
That's interesting. I do think. Yeah, I don't know. I got to think about this. I don't. My thing about like the Alabama case is that like it was a whole privately owned city, and like I think that's a lot less of a product than Twitter is, because I guess you could technically call that like a product, right? Because it's privately owned. You go there, you buy a house, and the product is the town that you live in, right? But like then you have the problem of like if you were born in that like private mining town, like it's hard to just leave, like you're not like
Right.
on Twitter, you're signing up for a Twitter, and then you've got the Twitter and you can leave Twitter whenever you want, because you're using their service. But like with this town, you're kind of stuck there. So I think it makes sense in the town's context, but I'm not sure how much it would apply to Twitter, because Twitter is I agree, it's like probably the biggest social network and the most influential. But at the end of the day, it is still kind of a product that you can. Okay, but what you're saying though is that eventually this product transcends into something that should be regulated because it's.
And yes, and that's what I'm saying. I think we're already getting sort of close to that point where it is going to transcend into more of like a public utility, like how the internet's sort of like, well, not everybody has access to the internet, but the internet has sort of become a thing where like, kind of like it's almost not even optional to avoid it. I mean, you can still avoid using the internet, but you're making life a little difficult for yourself.
Yeah.
So I think it's reaching that point.
So effectively, you would want the government to come in and say, Twitter, you can't ban these people, or you have to be much less strict in like your banning guidelines and stuff like that, and
or
like, you have
I
to
guess
be more tolerant of like anything anybody says.
I guess I would say something to the effect of like maybe being more, like you said, me being more tolerant, and then also narrowing down the field of which you can get banned, because you can get banned for like a lot of things. And granted, these aren't like bans for life. Like people get banned for like a day, 30 days, whatever, like a month. Well, 30 days is a month. But you know what I mean? Like they get banned for varying amounts of time. So that's not to say that these are all for life kind of things, but I still think that they should sort of narrow it down and make it more clear cut.
Like more towards like First Amendment protections.
Yeah,
for
more
speech.
and just make it more like a public forum. So like the dude who I think it was on Twitter, who's talking about like, oh, let's go kill the politicians if they do this or whatever, right? And like he got tagged and bagged, right? Something like that. Yeah, like if something like that happens on Twitter, then yeah, ban them, tag them and bag them, report them to the authorities, all that jazz. But if like I forgot who it was, and this happens all the time, so I guess it doesn't really matter who it was. But there was like this big right-wing celebrity or reporter, maybe, personality, talking to like I think a trans person, and they were arguing back and forth about the use of pronouns and stuff, and like that person got the right-wing person got banned for, I don't know if it was permanently or for a couple of days. But my main point is, like, I don't think she should be banned from that. It's not like she was like harassing the trans person. I don't remember what their orientation was, but like let's just say it was a guy to a girl. It wasn't like the personality was going, "Oh, you're a guy, haha, you have a penis," like things like that, right? He was, or she, I think it was a she, was just saying to the trans person like, "Oh no, I don't believe that. I think you should still be somewhat respectfully, as respectful as Twitter can get." Was just stating her viewpoint. I don't really think you should get banned for that. You may be a bit of an a-hole the way you go about it, but like you can be an a-hole in public.
Real quick, should I stop swearing? Am I not supposed to swear on the podcast?
No, you can swear.
Okay.
I tried to pull back on it because I'm trying to convey some sort of professionalism.
Okay, yeah, totally.
But no, swearing is totally fine. And
Okay.
I mean, I let it slip. So.
Well, yeah, I don't know. That's interesting. I mean, I guess that's fair, and like there are like boundaries to like, I don't know, when does free discussion become like harassment? And I guess, yeah, a lot of the complaint is Twitter does go too far sometimes. I was thinking though, what about like other countries? Because Twitter is a U.S. company, right? And so you would want the U.S. to come in with regulation, but like, does that mean that would Twitter only be beholden to U.S. laws? And if they were, what would stop Twitter from saying, all right, like we're moving to, I don't know, England?
That is interesting.
Because like then what happens when other countries want to impose their laws on Twitter?
I think that kind of already does happen. Like I believe in that same interview they were talking about how like they implement to be allowed into China.
Oh yeah, they like censor themselves.
Yeah. They censor whatever China wants to happen. So it's already happening, I think, with other companies.
That's true.
Or other countries. Sorry. But I think, I don't know if I would want to do this, but in the event that it did happen, because it's a U.S. owned company, I think at the end of the day, the U.S. government has, I guess, the first government pecking, if that makes sense, like policy setter for like what'll happen to them, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
That could be bad for Twitter's business though, if they're aiming to get a worldwide market.
Could be, but homeboy, then don't become a public forum. You know what I mean? Stay as social media.
I mean, that's fair. Okay, so then what would be the difference then between this happening and an alternative solution where the government simply created the public forum, like, I don't know, publicforum.gov, and it was exactly, the end result was exactly like what you had with Twitter, where it was loose, but government regulations were more applied. It was more like speaking in public physically.
I think that could work. The only problem is getting people to move their Twitter business, their public Twitter business, to a place like whatever the government would set up. You know what I mean? Because the government could set it up, and then if nobody comes, which is probably what will happen, if nobody shows up, like, I guess it's easier to make something where everybody's already at, instead of making something new and then being like, hey, everybody kind of go over here, and everybody's like, no, we like it over here. You know.
Okay, and then for this, I guess this is becoming kind of a thought experiment that I'll do then, because, like, if with that alternate scenario like publicforum.gov, I feel like, and this is me trying to appeal to like the libertarian in you, I don't know if I would sign up for that. You know, if I saw like the government was like, hey, you know, we got a public forum going on and we made it and it's a .gov, but don't worry because we promise it's going to be cool. It's good. It's cool. You can say whatever we don't care what you say whatever you want, you know? Like, I don't know I'd be a little suspicious.
And and this is where it's sort of, we get into the weeds of it. I agree. The libertarian in me, the small government Republican in me, is saying, what are you thinking, Matthew? What are you doing? Stop. What do you mean, government in your Twitter? What are you talking about? But I think, I don't know. I mean, I'm not a politician. I'm not a lawmaker. But I think if we set very, sort of like the Constitution, we set very strict, like, we really restrict the government on what exactly they can do, and, like, really leave no loopholes in there for them, I think we could potentially skirt around some of those problems, like, with the government being involved in, like, a Twitter. Like, because, then a big question will come up, like, all right, well, does the government have access to, like, my photos, what I'm retweeting? Like, can they, you know, do X, Y, and Z with my Twitter profile, things like that? Do they get my data and stuff like that? And I don't really have the answers about if they should or shouldn't. I'm going to go with probably not. But just purely from a stance of purely restricting it from the stance of, like, a public forum thing. Just specifically for Twitter. And that's another thing. It would be specifically for Twitter, because then if you leave it wide open for other social media platforms to jump in on that or to get looped into that, that'll be a problem. That I don't think would be good. So I think it would be specifically for something like Twitter. And I think a thought that I had was, I know Facebook is almost there. They're almost right there. But I think they just barely miss that sort of threshold where they cross into, like, a public forum. I think there's still more social, quote unquote, media to be enough where I wouldn't want to tag and bag them. I would want to tag and bag Facebook for different reasons, but I wouldn't want to turn Facebook into a public forum.
So effectively it would be like a thing where you're a company, like your Twitter in its infancy, right? And in this scenario, you're looking at this point, you know, along the road where you're like, oh shit, if we start, like, making this much money or having this many, this many users monthly or something, we're going to hit the public forum mark, and we're going to have to suddenly be subject to U.S. regulations. And so it'd be like okay, here's the other thing. And then if people jumped off Twitter and stopped using it, it then becomes smaller, right? So then do you cancel that, and do you switch it to whatever the like, big social network is? You know, like, if Facebook becomes popular again and people start leaving Twitter, then would you switch it around, you know? Would you follow it? Would you chase them? Or would you just, like, keep Twitter?
Depends. It depends. If Facebook were to cross that mark, right, where, like, all of a sudden it becomes like a Twitter where people are breaking news on there and having these sort of public forum, I'm using quotations, public forum discussions, then yeah, maybe you'd open the case back up again. And I would argue that you'd have to start from scratch again. Like, let's just say this does go to like court or it's suggested legislation, things like that. There definitely needs to be argued. It can't just be the government stepping in and be like, okay, we're gonna do this. I definitely think it should be argued. And then for every new, like, it shouldn't just be a general law. For every new platform that the government looks at, they have to start over again and build up that case to suggest, yeah, we're going to do this.
Okay.
And I don't even know what, like, would constitute it. Again, I think to just totally circumvent that, it might be a little unfair to Twitter. It is unfair to Twitter. But I would say just make the bill specifically about Twitter. Don't even say like, oh, if you have this many users, you become a public forum, or this many users per month, or whatever. Just straight up Twitter. You've reached a point, and you've even said it yourself. Well, the CEO said it. Difference, but you're turning into something that the public goes to on the internet to read breaking news, get their information, have discussions, things like that. We're not really gonna, fuck with you, but excuse my French, I'm not really gonna mess with you, but hey, maybe can't really ban Joe Schmo for saying this. Again, I don't want them to. Let me stress this. It sounds like it's gonna be a big thing, and it kind of is, but I don't mean like the government comes in and totally like takes over Twitter. I'm just saying they establish maybe like a few laws specifically to Twitter to help flesh out that public forum, because like in the Alabama case, they're saying if you offer most of to all of the same properties as the public forum, or the public version of, in this case it was a town, if you offer sort of the same things as the public version, you have to offer the same benefits and rights. And I don't think currently they're doing that. Of course, okay. then you'd have to establish, is Twitter truly a public forum? And me personally, I think it is.
Okay.
And that's why I think they should step in.
So this is almost like, yeah, this is complicated. I don't know. This is okay. So it's kind of in the same vein of like anti-discrimination laws, where you can't.
That just reminded me of the gay wedding cake.
The gay cake. Yeah. I mean, it kind of the government isn't directly coming in to sticking their hand into private businesses, but there are laws saying if you're a private business, you got all these rights, but you don't have the right to refuse someone because of their race or gender or anything like that. So, and yours is effectively the same thing, but it's like this social network does not have the right, even though it's a private entity, to like ban someone for violating, I don't know, some method, some like aspect of their terms of service.
Yeah, or at least sort of narrow down those terms of service kind of thing. Because like, I was listening to Joe Rogan podcast where Jack Dorsey came on with his like almost like a PR person. That's not actually her role. She did something else important in the company. I don't want to like discredit her or anything like that. They were talking about some of the stuff that like people violated and got banned for. It was pretty ridiculous. Like somebody got banned. I'm simplifying the issue, so like don't quote me on this, or crucify me for this. But somebody like got banned for telling a journalist, or not a journalist. Maybe it was a journalist. I don't know. There was a thing going around about learn to code, or something to that effect. And it was in response to like people, like miners getting, or like factory workers sort of getting their, those jobs are sort of shrinking, going away. They're losing jobs. And it was like learn to code, and it became sort of like a joke, half serious, half joke. And like people got banned for that. Now, granted, there were some implications behind that I don't entirely remember that Twitter sort of saw as sort of like problematic. But me personally, I think that's sort of silly to ban somebody for that. It might be a joke, but like, and it may be a little bit of harassment, but that's not even like the worst thing you could say to somebody. I don't know.
Okay, so
It's an iffy example. I'm sorry. I didn't provide a lot of details further than that, but
okay, I don't have any like coherent thought of like, you know, like a coherent solid opinion on this, right? But I keep thinking of little examples. So maybe should I just keep bringing up these little examples?
Sure.
Okay.
Hey, we are just
We're into it.
I'm not even sure if I entirely agree with this. It's hard for me because I want to disagree with myself, but something about me is screaming, I think this is a good idea.
Okay. So one thing I'm thinking of is everything, every little like ban or anything that's ever been, that ever fits into the category of like, I don't know if you should have banned that person. In this new system, every single one of those is going to go to the courts, right? So that'll be a lot of work. Because you'll have to, like...
I guess...
Because Twitter will still have the ability to ban people, right? It'll just be under government oversight. So they might still ban someone, and that person can say, hey, no, you can't do that. And before, whether or not it was good or bad, you could be like, hey, you can't ban me. And Twitter's like, yeah, we can. Sorry, you can't take us to the courts. But now you can take Twitter to the courts. So Twitter's never going to be out of court.
And that's why, well, and I guess any previous bans, for better or worse, will stand, right? Once everything before the law or regulation would be put in effect would stand, just to make things easier. So we start with a clean slate, right? And then anything egregious, I guess people can sue, and the government will look into it and be very selective. But then from then on, the ideal thing to do with this new law would be, hey, Twitter, you gotta, unfortunately, get a little bit of government intervention. You're gonna have to narrow this shit down. You're gonna have to be specific, and you're gonna have to sort of how like the state has to justify. Like whenever, like there's a bunch of other cases also what we've been discussing where like the state has to justify why they stopped a free speech, like, why they stopped free speech. They have to present evidence that there was a good reason for the government or the state entity to step in and stop the free speech, right? So have it be something like that, where Twitter has to go, look at this, and that. This is why we did this, because of this. And then the government will go, okay. And they have to narrow it down and get very specific so that it doesn't turn into a Twitter always being in a court battle,
That's fair. Okay. Another thing.
Easier said than done, by the way.
Yeah, that's true. Another thing is like, ideally this is best, right? Considering like, that Twitter is like an international company. Like when you assume that like, I don't know, the U.S. has the best free speech laws, right? And like the best protections. But I don't know, BDS is a big issue, right? Like boycott, divestment, and sanctions. Right? Is that the S? Sanctions? Yeah. And it's like the thing where the U.S. is like, you can't boycott Israel, right? Like you can't boycott the country of Israel for any reason. No, for real, yeah.
No. Yeah. I'm just laughing at the idea of that, like boycotting an entire country.
Yeah, I don't know exactly how you do that, but then the thing is, like, what if someone in another country, like, somehow boycotts Israel in a way that they use Twitter to do that, right? So then is the U.S. government gonna tell this citizen of another country that's using a private company in the U.S. as their like service that they can't say that? If like they're in Germany or something, say, like what happens when Germany's like, he can say that, we don't have a BDS law, this person's totally in the right, and then the U.S. is like, well, we kind of did this thing where we like eminent domain grabbed Twitter, and like regulated them a little bit. Like, I think,
that is a tricky question.
I think it wouldn't be good for Twitter business wise.
Of course not.
Yeah, Twitter would end up. But then the thing is, if people outside of the U.S. stop using Twitter, then it's almost become like just a U.S. public forum, and at that point, it's getting down to the point of like, this is where you get your news from government officials, you know? And like I don't know.
I think what I don't really have an answer for you if I'm being honest.
Mm-hmm.
But my knee-jerk reaction would be I think the US would, if it was a German citizen living in Germany, my knee-jerk reaction is I think it would fall under German jurisdiction, but I don't know. What my answer is, I guess I would say, is with U.S. law, it's all about that word I can't say, precedent.
I think you nailed it.
Okay, thank you. I was a little worried there. It's all about that. It's the common law system where previous, cases sort of establish what we can do. Like we were talking about in class, like the whole Ben Shapiro thing. I think it was in Michigan, where he was supposed to speak in like a big lecture hall, and they moved him like down the street to like a really small venue because of like a potential threat or risk to him and other students and citizens of the town, of the area. There's like this walkway or whatever that maybe protesters might have tried to like hurt people in, right? Something like that. And unfortunately, that could have established more government action or like what you're supposed to do in a situation like that. But because it was settled outside of court, now we'll never know what the government would have decided. But I think it's one of those things. When it happens, it'll probably go to court. And then it will be decided in court, and that will establish the precedent. I think I nailed it that time.
That was good too, yeah.
Thank you. It'll establish that of what we're supposed to do, because that really is what the U.S. law, common law system sort of is. It's about just living life, and then when something happens, we'll deal with it. We'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Okay.
Not that we should just go lawless and then see what happens. You know what I mean? Like we should still set up parameters and things like that. But I think at the end of the day, we won't be able to account for every single thing.
Okay.
And if need be, maybe I'm not a lawmaker again, so I don't know if this is even possible. Maybe put in somewhere that like if the law or regulation doesn't work out, there will be an easy way to repeal it.
I send it back.
Yeah, I send it back. Don't like it. You could try something like that. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
It is an interesting thought, because like on one hand, you can say all this stuff about like, oh, the government shouldn't regulate private companies and stuff like that, but the government does do civil rights regulation for like, stores and bakeries and stuff like that, and there is no precedent, using that word again, for this. Like, there's never been something as big as Twitter that's as much of a public forum as Twitter is. So I don't know. I mean, I think my knee-jerk reaction is no, but I'm not able to articulate exactly why. I don't know.
Well, let me tell you this. There's another court case that sort of goes along with the opposing view. It's Pruneyard versus Robbins. Oh, wait. Holy smokes. I think the professor sent out an email saying that he got this one wrong.
Oh.
So maybe to be safe, I'm not going to read it.
Okay.
To be safe, I actually won't read it. I think he sent out an email today saying that he actually got that one wrong. He messed up.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
But just generally speaking, not using an example. Just generally speaking, believe me, like I said earlier, like my instincts are to say no to that, because it's always better, I think, for the market usually to deal with certain things. Now, I'm not like a laissez-faire sort of capitalist kind of person. I definitely think there's regulation is needed in certain areas, but for the most part, I do agree that inviting the government in to a private company doing stuff like that can be a slippery slope of the government seizing power to do things and then restricting your freedoms and things like that. But I don't know. There's something inside me. I don't know. Something inside me. It's something inside me that's like, I like this idea. I got it in my head. It's stuck in my head. But yeah, I think if it was something like Facebook or like Instagram, then I'd be like, like Instagram's more about sharing photos. Facebook has basically become a meme factory. It's basically what's happened on Facebook, I think. And then like connecting with family and things like that. I guess the reason I specifically am okay with it on Twitter is because of what the CEO said and what basically it's turned into. It's turned into news. Mostly, not always, but and there are some people who don't. Some people who don't use Twitter for that.
Yeah.
But
I think it's interesting because maybe the thing that happened recently with like the NOAA and National Oceanic Atmospheric Administration, NOAA.
I didn't hear anything about this. So.
It was okay. So I don't know if this is relevant or not. Maybe it is, but like Trump, Hurricane Dorian was coming through, right? Trump was like, watch out everybody on the southeast, watch out Alabama, right? Alabama's in danger, and then and it wasn't, right? That was the thing. And so, NOAA in Birmingham was like, no, you're fine, don't pack up, don't evacuate, you are not in danger, it's not hitting Alabama. And then like this broke after the whole thing happened, right? But like the New York Times talked about how Wilbur Ross, the Commerce Secretary, right, at Trump's behest, called up the NOAA, and he was like, "Y'all better shut up." Like, Trump, I don't know what he would have said, but he was like, "You can't contradict Trump on subjects of the weather." All right, he knows the weather. And I will fire you guys if you don't delete that tweet. And so they deleted the tweet, right? And they were like, actually, sorry, we were wrong. It might have hit, it could have maybe hit Alabama. Who really knows? It's hurricane. We don't predict the weather. We're just the NOAA.
Yeah, that seems wrong.
Yeah. And so my worry is that's already happening, right? And Twitter's still now a completely private company, So what does it mean when suddenly you're giving the government the ability to regulate Twitter, and you've got the weatherman in chief now? I feel like that would have been the next step to where Trump says, "Oh, it might hit Alabama," and they can't say anything, because they're also a government office, and so they're just like, "Shit, sorry guys, you got to evacuate because we can't contradict him."
I guess that stuff be behind the scenes kind of thing, because they didn't make Twitter delete. They didn't make Twitter delete their tweet, right?
No.
Yeah.
They made the NOAA.
They called up the company and said, "Hey, delete your tweet."
Yeah, or the NOAA government organization.
Right.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. The agency, organization. Yeah.
Because that just makes it easier. For them to do that.
I guess that's why I stress the importance of it would have to be written in the right way, up in the right way. It would have to get very specific and narrow down exactly what the document is saying the government can regulate and can't about Twitter. So dangerous things don't happen like that. Again, easier said than done. I don't have the exact answers of how it should legally be worded. But if somebody could figure that out, I think there's potential there. I think that whole delete the tweet, Trump or homeboy saying delete the tweet, Trump is God weathermaster.
Yeah.
I think that is a separate issue, a separate court case, and I don't have the answers for that. Or a separate, maybe not a court case, a legal issue. But,
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm wondering what all of the, because do you follow A Crime a Day?
No.
The Twitter account. There's a great Twitter account called A Crime a Day.
Is that the felony one?
Yeah, and they just post every day. It's a felony. It is a or U.S. code. This, that, and the other says it's a felony to import. I don't know, this kind of wild hog like toes or something without seasoning them, and like there's all sorts of just really
wacky
regulations about like specific things, and I'm wondering.
I think that's where that common law thing comes in,
Uh-huh.
where it's court cases people suing each other, establishing what's okay and what's not okay. And I think that's where those wacky sort of things, oddly specific things, come in.
But then, like, when you open this door of, like, allowing the government to do any little regulation to Twitter, whatever it is, like, are you opening another door to, like, I don't know, like, not being able to post about hogs or something, you know? Or something really obscure that, like, you didn't realize the government could do that, but it happened, and you're like, wait, what do you mean? What do you mean I can't say that?
So, I don't think if in a perfect world people do what I'm imagining this law would look like, I don't think the government necessarily would be allowed to do that. I am willing to admit it's making it the door a little bit easier to crack open for the government to start doing things like that, making it easier for that government intervention or oversight. It does sort of open the door a little bit. I think, again, if lawmakers or lawyers or whatever wrote it up so that it's super, super, super specific, or maybe it's how the First Amendment sort of is written, where I think it's called a negative right or something like that. About
wrong.
It's telling the government. I think
the government doesn't have the right to do this.
I think it's telling the government only. I think it's only what they can do.
Oh.
Right? So, like, it's very specific. It's not saying what they can't do. It's saying what they can do. So they can only operate within a very specific guideline. And if they go outside of that, it's either illegal or they have to argue about it through a court case. So, setting up strict parameters like that, I don't remember which one it is, but the main point is if you set up strict parameters, strict guidelines about what the government can do specifically, like you can't bleed out of this, then I think we'll be a little bit safer. Just like with the whole free speech thing. Like, if it was, like, I think some other constitutions have, like, free speech sort of rights. Sorry, I was trying to find the word. They have things written in the Constitution or their own constitutions or legal documents about that, but it might be the opposite. Or I might have this totally mixed up. But I remember there's a certain way that the Constitution spells it out that really restricts the U.S. government. And in other constitutions, in other governments, they have written it up in a way that they have more leeway to sort of mess around.
To be fair, though, the Constitution, U.S. Constitution at least, can be amended.
Yeah, but we only have, what?
Well, we got a good amount.
20... I think it's 27 or 29.
Something like that.
Amendments, but over 200 something years.
Yeah,
almost 300, I think.
That's true. Well, it's around one every decade.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, that's true.
We got it pretty good off the bat. Well, maybe not pretty good. But my point is that it's hard to change. It's really hard for people or for the government to get around to putting an amendment in. For better or worse. So I think, I don't know. I think if written right. Now I know it's playing with if can be a little tricky.
Big if.
You know, like they say, if is for kids kind of thing.
They do.
But if it can be written up right, I think it would be potentially beneficial. There'll definitely be problems along the way that'll have to be figured out. But
okay. Well, that is interesting. It is interesting that that's the one thing you are, I guess you are, on the side of government regulation. But
one of the few things,
Yeah, but you've, you laid out some good reasons, too, so that's fair.
And I think there are plenty of good reasons to not do it. I agree with you. It opens the door for a slippery slope, for a very slippery slope.
Yeah, it sure is interesting, though. I don't know. I never thought about it. Yeah, I don't know if we have to wrap it up or not, but I was also thinking, like, states' rights would be an interesting, like, suddenly, is Twitter the same for every state now? Because, like, it'll be under federal jurisdiction, but are there...
Is the internet... I don't think the internet...
Does interstate commerce. That's a thing, right? The government...
But...
No, wait.
But, yeah, I don't think Twitter does...
I think they would because their their revenue, right, is like from advertising companies, right? And unless you've got all the companies in one state, I'm pretty sure that counts as. I think it's very broad what interstate commerce counts as.
Would you run into that issue though with just like in terms of like speech and things like that?
I don't know. I'm trying to think. Because it feels like something that would be relevant, but I don't know why. Because like, why I thought there was something that that was relevant that I thought about that had to do with interstate commerce the other day, and I don't remember what it was. It was something that I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I'm forgetting everything.
It is an interesting question to pose. There's multiple angles you can look at this where might be a problem. Like you mentioned earlier, like the international stuff, like that could be a problem. I don't know. I don't really have an answer for you. I don't think the state governments would get involved.
Do states have hate speech laws, or is that just federal? Do you know? Can states do anything about speech?
I don't. I can give you a bullshit answer, but I don't know for sure.
I like bullshit answers.
All right, my bullshit answer is that I'm gonna go with yes. I think states do potentially have different sort of laws about maybe speech and hate speech. I think ultimately at the end of the day, I think federal sort of rules the day on that one. But again, I genuinely don't know. So
okay, Dang, I wish I could remember what I was. It was something that didn't work, and someone was saying like, "Why doesn't this work? Why don't they let you do this?" And the answer that I had in my head that might not have been
interstate commerce.
Yeah, and dang it, why can't I remember that? Oh, that's all right. Might have been wrong anyway.
Was it something to do with eBay or something, or like selling between people?
That sounds right. Maybe, or yeah, I don't know. And I don't even remember what illegal, like federally illegal thing it was. It wasn't weed. Yeah, I don't know.
All right, well, we don't really have to sort of come to a conclusion with this one. I think it's just something I wanted to bring to you, some more things that made me think about the argument some more, and why I'm leaning more towards that way. And I guess, I just wanted to discuss it, which we did.
Yeah, I like it. It was big ifs, but interesting ifs.
Big ifs.
Big interesting ifs. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
A big interesting if, a B-I-I.
Yeah.
A bye.
Bye. But don't leave the podcast because it's not over.
Yeah. Please. We still got another topic. Which...
Burn the witch.
Speaking of which... Alex, I have no idea what your topic is, so hit me with it.
Oh, yeah. Well, let me remember. I wrote it down. You got your whole notebook right there, and I've got 5 words on my notes app that and it's 2 topics. I'm not gonna do both. One of them was loud cars. Not gonna go with that because I already ranted. I'm gonna get I'm gonna get too upset if I start talking about loud cars. Okay. You know what my topic was?
Wait, was? Are you not doing it?
Sorry, okay. Is. Yeah. I'm having a brain fart. Okay, yeah. This was I think I've mentioned this before, but I watched this Adam Ruins Everything episode about it was Adam Ruins Cars, right? And he talked about how in the early 1900s it was roads were very walkable. It was you'd have carriages going through, and you'd have people walking all the way across, and there wasn't jaywalking, because it was just all walking, right? And then cars came along, and people were like, geez, these cars are, hitting people and killing people. We should do something about this. Interestingly enough, this is going to end up being about regulation as well. Yeah, but I didn't even realize that.
We're Regulatory Boys.
Yeah. Ooh, that's a good band name.
Regulatory Boys.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, so it was just basically talked about how that happened, and then we ended up as a country siding with cars over people, and that's why now we have real small blocks with lots of roads. Like cities are, 20% road asphalt, right? And it's all for driving, and if you walk across where you're not supposed to walk, it's jaywalking. You can get arrested, you get hit. And that just got me thinking, like, man, I think it should have been the other way around. I think we shouldn't have prioritized cars. We should have prioritized pedestrians, right? Because it would be like two alternate United States, right? And I guess this is kind of like modeled after some European cities that ended up staying more pedestrian friendly because they were really old and they didn't want to redo. I don't know if how true that is, but there's a lot of brick roads in places like Italy, right? And people walk around. I don't know. All right. But like, I just thought, man, it would be really nice if we had said, you know what? These cars are dangerous and they're hitting too many people. Let's just have roads around, big major roads around the peripheries of the city, like 10 roads total intersecting in a small town maybe. And you got big parking spaces, big parking garages, and you've got these big blocks where there's roads in between them, right? Roads in between the buildings, but it's walking roads, and you can just walk anywhere. People are biking through the middle or something, and you got so much space to walk. Because think about how messed up it is. I didn't mean to get this passionate. I'm not actually this passionate about this. But, like, think about how messed up it is that, like, you're walking down the sidewalk, and, like, look at how much space the cars get. And think about how many people are on the sidewalk versus how many people are in those cars. There's going to be one person, one asshole, in like a giant Hummer going down a tiny street. Nothing against Hummers or people with big cars. I'm just trying to make an example of like some angry pedestrian,
right.
Who feels like they've been robbed of the street. So like...
This is such an Alex
Okay,
sorry,
but I hope this changes the way you think about being on the sidewalk.
Unfortunately not. I'm not going to lie to you.
Wait till you walk down the sidewalk next time. Yeah. I mean, yeah, you never know. But, like, it's just like I was walking down the sidewalk, and I was like, man, there's a lot more people on the sidewalk and not a lot of people in those cars. And those are really big cars. And they're taking up most of the road, And I was thinking, man, it would be really nice if, park on the outside of downtown and then walk on into where you want to go. Because, sorry, were you going to say something? Okay.
I mean, I am ready to...
You are ready to say...
I am ready to say something, but no, you can go.
Okay, I was also going to say, think about, like, when you go, if you want to drive to Starbucks, right? You're like, should I, where am I going to park? Is the Starbucks parking spot, like the Starbucks adjacent, right there on 9th Street, is that spot taken? Maybe I worry about this too much. Like, the whole point of having streets inside of downtown, like in dense public spaces, is so that you can drive to where you want to go and park there, right? But you can't because parking's always taken because, people are parking there because everyone wants to drive to downtown. And so that motivation for making those roads is suddenly gone unless you get really lucky and you leave at like 6 a.m. to, drive to Starbucks. And then you got your own parking spot. Congratulations. But like otherwise... there's always going to be a car there. Only one lucky car gets to park right there next to Starbucks, and everyone else is going to park over by, I don't know, somewhere else.
Yeah.
Well, fuzzies.
I have two, I guess, big ideas or concepts, I guess, that I would say to that. The first would be I think that's partially just a logistics problem. Mm-hmm. Like that's just the town expanding and then maybe not 100% adequately providing room for its citizens and the people who live there or whatever to have space. But the other thing is I think the main thing is just travel time. Like, then you would have to set an expectation, right? Of like, hey, instead of, can you do this, and that for me within like a certain amount, like let's just say go get coffee, go print something, go do this in the next like hour. Mm-hmm. Hey, can you go do this in the next 5 hours? You know what I mean? Like, oh, I won't be able to get to work in the next 5 minutes. I'll get there in like the next 30 minutes. I think it's about the reason why it was sort of prioritized was what was travel time, and also like speed. Just because if you're in the road and you get hit by a fucking car, you're gonna die.
That's true.
Potentially.
But were you gonna keep going?
You can go ahead.
Okay, like when has driving to somewhere downtown ever been fast? Think about all the times we've been in the car and I've been driving
Faster than walking.
But think about this. Whenever we drive downtown, we always end up parking somewhere else. We never park in front of where we want to go, right? My idea is you should have just given pedestrians the preference and said, cars, you get some roads. You get some roads and you get big parking structures, but you don't get a road next to every single shop, right? Like, and that way
sort of turn it into like almost like bring the outlet mall model to a city level.
Oh, okay, yes, but not in like a weird, like, oh my God, malls are everywhere. Like, what does America become kind of way,
right. Yeah. No, yeah.
Like, pretend you're looking at a city from above, right? And you see this just grid of squares, right? And each square is separated by a road, right? Now, take one of those little blocks, squares, and make it 4 times as large, right? That's your new block, right? And so you're taking all those roads that are inside that new quadruple block, and you're just banning cars from that road, from all those little tiny 4 roads, right? You can walk or run wherever you want within that little area, right? And you can just run across the road because it's like the 19th century. You can just walk right across and you're not going to get hit by a car. And the cars park on the edges, because that doesn't change anything, because you always end up parking far away from.
What about trucks bringing in? What about trucks bringing in like cargo for a business, or if I just want to get dropped off by a friend at a location?
I mean, well, it's not too much of an inconvenience because you would have to put up with being dropped off a little farther away, right? But you'd get dropped off 1 block away, and you don't even have to wait for the crosswalks because you're right there, and you're like, oh shit, look at this big block with 4 sub-blocks only separated by a gigantic sidewalk. That would be so nice. Just imagine it.
Maybe bigger sidewalks, maybe.
The whole street's a sidewalk.
But
no more sidewalks. It's just a walk.
There's something in me that's saying no.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I understand what you're talking about. As someone who doesn't own a car, and I would like to get to places faster. It would be nice if I could just walk in a straight line, sort of, to downtown and make my life easier and not have to go, either cross the the intersection or go all the way up to Schurz Hall and then take the bridge and then go down, things like that, and just go a roundabout way to walking to where I need to go. But on the flip side, just the dominance of cars in our lives, and that improving, whether it's transportation of humans or goods, or just travel time, not having to worry about hitting anybody in the road, I don't know. Maybe the meeting in the middle is just an expansion in all cities of public transportation, or alternatives to like cars and public transportations, like building like a good bus system, or a good bike trails, or bike lanes on roads, things like that. Building better sidewalks, bigger sidewalks,
big walks.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm down to go with your model. But
no,
I don't know.
Okay, I think I would agree. It's really hard. It would be really hard to implement, right? Because it'd be so much work to get all that done, and people already have a lot of cars, and everyone likes to drive. But what I'm basically doing is faulting the people 100 years ago who said we are gonna make, because they. If anyone's still alive, you made the wrong choice. Reconsider. Oh, they'd have to be really babies
old,
making those. But you know what? It was a bad decision, so they might have been children. I don't know. Okay, but because what they did, right, is say, we're choosing cars. Check it out, everybody. We got this new street where you can't walk on, And all the people who like to walk were like, what the frick, And the people with cars. Someone was thinking, I want to buy a car, but I don't want to have to run anyone over.
All right, well, let me ask you this. Have you ever looked at a street and gone, man, I just wish I could walk in it?
Yeah.
I've never.
I'm telling you, And everyone who's listening to this podcast right now, I want you to, next time you're walking down the street, think about how nice it would be if it was just a big sidewalk all the way and you could just walk right to Starbucks and there's no one honking at you, you know, and you could bird across the whole thing, you know, you could bird across the whole street.
He's referring to the scooters.
Yes.
To the motor scooters or electric scooters.
Yeah, I wish it had ended up that way where they had said, you know what, cars, convenient, but stick to the sidelines, right? And then you would have had a world where people, or at least a U.S., where you got these great walkable cities, not that many people have cars, people can have cars, but not that many people are reliant on their car to get, what am I trying to say?
No,
Would people be less reliant on cars? It would have, yeah, you're right. It would have to hinge on a little more public transportation, a little better public, or good bike paths or something.
So I agree with you on maybe cities should have more public transportation options. So you know, excuse me, the streets aren't flooded with cars and things like that. And it's easier for the average person to go around. But I don't know. I think like that would be a major like quick transportation on roads is a sort of how would you say, like a good social public good develop. It helped develop nations all over the world, including our own, being able to travel to places quicker and things like that. So I think if they had made the opposite choice where they favored pedestrians, I think that would restrict how would you say that, geographic movement of populations, and it would restrict people within their own cities on where they could get to, and it might be a bit of a hindrance to progress in a society.
I would disagree. I would say, yeah, it would be easier to get around, because think about like New York City, like downtown Manhattan.
Well, they have a lot of public transportation.
They do, but at the same time, you got streets on every block, right? And you can drive wherever you want. And the traffic's pretty bad, right?
Horrendous.
Yeah. What if they were just like, screw it, you know what? We're getting rid of some of these streets, you can walk wherever you want across that. You guys got to stop driving through the city and, park somewhere else, And it would, again, have to come with like a little bit more public transportation budget or something. But
I think with a place like New York City, yes, you could get away with it, but like I said, that's because of the public transportation. And I don't even know if I would go as far as to say, hey, no cars here, but encouraging a public transportation initiative would definitely be preferred. I would be down with that. Are you going to show me a picture?
I'm going to show you, like, this is what I'm talking about. Look at them walking there. I pulled up a picture on my phone I just Googled 18th century streets. I think it's London or something, or Paris. I don't know. But it's look at that. You can run wherever you want, You're not going to get hit by anyone. Look at that. Those things can't honk. They didn't have horns back then, but that's, those carriages still can't honk. And it would be like, this is like the corner of Fuzzies, and the theater, and there's that church, and there's the other church too.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, right. And that corner, that'd all be walking. You walk wherever you want around there, and those streets are also walking until they go out and hit the next block, and then you got a road, right? And you mentioned earlier, like, delivering goods to stores, and yeah, I guess it is convenient to have the goods delivered right to your storefront, but it's not convenient for the driver when there's a big truck on 9th Street, and like, suddenly it's a one-lane road with birds, drunk students on birds and people trying to jaywalk on 9th Street, because that's what people. I'll tell you what, people really like walking across 9th Street. I think there's some hidden anger against the early 19th century, 20th century built city planners. I think everyone's a little bit angry, and that's why they're all jaywalking, because think about how many times you've jaywalked.
So hold on. So you're saying that the people who jaywalk have some sort of like innate subconscious resentment towards city planners?
Yeah, deep down. It's the secret society of pedestrians that has been indoctrinating us. Okay, I'm getting Okay, but like,
I mean, I understand what you're saying. Like, yeah, it would be nice, like, especially in a place like downtown, where it is just mostly people walking around. It would be nice, but ultimately, I gotta side with the cars on this one.
so you're not gonna jaywalk anymore, are you?
Oh, I'll jaywalk.
Oh, okay.
But I do it when cars aren't around because I look.
Okay. Well, that's fair. That's fair.
So, like, yes, it is more convenient for me to do that, but I totally understand that me doing that, I'm putting myself at risk. Like,
That's true.
I should have been taking the legal crosswalk where I
But-
am allowed to cross.
But you didn't. That's the key. You didn't. Why didn't you take it? Because it's very convenient. You just right. You just said that.
Yes,
It
but
would be.
but I still think the car, at least on the road, just like the cars can come on the sidewalk, they have the right, quote unquote, the right to be there. And if I'm invading their space, I gotta be aware.
I mean, that's true. Yes, but they were given the right. It was not an innate right. Someone decided cars win. Cars get it. Could have easily been pedestrians get the right.
Could have,
Yeah. I don't know.
but then that would have been weird.
It would. Well, I think it would be pretty cool.
I don't know. Like,
I mean,
I am literally just imagining a town as an outlet mall or a campus. I'm envisioning a campus, pretty much. And
Yeah.
I don't know if I like it.
You don't like no?
I don't know. Like,
'Cause-
it is nice to be able to walk around.
Yeah.
But again, I think that I keep bringing myself back to just, all right, well then just improve the public transportation in a town.
But the other part of that is that the more public transportation you have, like the more buses and stuff, buses got to take roads.
Or
So,
hey, this comes back to the Ben Shapiro case.
Yeah.
In that town, or at least in the campus, maybe, I don't know if it extends to the town, there's a system of like walking tunnels underneath it's not like a subway system. It's just walking tunnels underneath the city so that you can walk around freely. So maybe you do something sort of like that, where you have a tunnel system of, if you don't want to spend the money to I mean, it'd still be expensive.
I think tunnels cost a lot.
Yes, but like now you gotta add train on top of that. And,
Okay, I think that works for me though. I think that works for my case because think about it. We've ended up in this dystopian. I'm getting really into it. I'm sorry. We're in this such a horrible dystopian car-ruled world where
You're really preaching for the plight of the pedestrian.
I am. These poor pedestrians. But the pedestrians, they couldn't get the road, so they have now gone underground into shelter. They're hiding. They have to go under the cars.
Alex, that's fine. We can go above the cars. We can build upwards. We can go up.
So you're gonna have just like a hamster city of tubes going between the. And I could have easily just had big walks.
And let's acknowledge the irony here too, as well. You're the one with the car.
I'm the one with the car.
I don't have a car,
I
and
drive a lot.
I'm the one arguing for you, and you're arguing for me.
Okay, yeah, that's true. But I will say again, we have never parked directly in very few times.
Very few times, yeah.
Directly in front of where we wanted to go. So I don't think much would change if you just had these little, square outlet malls. I guess outlet mall is the right word.
Maybe I mean I do agree that like you can't, and we've learned this through playing the game City Skylines, a city simulator. You can't have like constant blockages of cars, because then it'll cause a congestion. I mean, just look at New York City and how they have a bunch of blocks and a bunch of intersecting roads, and it creates a traffic jam. I mean, it is crap, but you have to space those out. So I agree with you. It shouldn't be constant gridding.
Yeah.
But I don't think it should be sort of like, I know these aren't your words, but I'm just going to use it because it's just what I think of. I don't think we should also use like the outlet mall sort of model for forests, or multiple outlet mall little areas or campuses, or however you want to think about it, little designated areas in a city. I don't know if I'd be down for that.
Okay, what about this? What about compromise? You know how an alley is like, sometimes kind of shitty, but like you can walk through it freely, and you really shouldn't, drive through it all the time.
But you can.
You can if you need to, and if you're a truck offloading to a business, you can go through it. Imagine all the alleyways in Columbia. Sorry to the poor businesses that get pushed out of the way because we're expanding the alleys, but imagine the alleys get a little wider, and that'd be kind of nice because you could just, walk around,
I think you just want to go back to 18th century and just
It does
19th
sound
century,
kind of
just walk
nice, right?
around. It would be interesting to experience.
Just the roads, of course, but like it. I don't know. Yeah, I think it would, maybe this is me too, like coming from Davis, where like it's the quote unquote bike capital of the USA, and I'm like bringing my bike chauvinism in here.
I mean, hey, Pine Bush is the UFO capital of the United States.
Really?
Self-proclaimed, though.
Okay.
I don't know how true that is. Like, but
Well.
that's what we tell ourselves anyway. By the way, that's where I'm from. I guess post New York City life. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's where I graduated from high school.
The Pine Bush Spacemen.
Pine Bush
That's
Bushmen.
high school.
Which
Bushmen.
Alex always laughs about the Pine Bush Bushmen. It's
just Bush right in the middle of your name.
Yeah, we're cavemen. Our mascot is a caveman. Yeah, like a big buff caveman. Yeah, the Pine Bush Bushmen.
I like it.
Yeah, not the best name, but
yeah.
I mean, what about the? Well, no. I was gonna say, what about the Valley Central Vikings? But that works.
The Valley Central, is that the close town?
That's our like. I guess our rival, but that's purely because they're the closest high school to us.
Are they the Valley Central Vikings or Valley Central Vikings? Is a Central Viking like a thing?
I guess it works either way.
Oh, okay.
They're Valley Central High School, so they're the Valley Central High School.
Oh, okay.
Valley Central Vikings. Yeah.
I see.
And
okay.
we're Pine Bush High School, so we're the Pine Bush Bushmen.
See, like trying to justify it in your head, like. Yeah, it's a good name, right? It's a good name.
Hey, listen, I'm not the one
sorry.
who picked it.
I don't mean to dunk on you.
That's okay. That's fine. I don't exactly think it's the best one either. Mm-hmm. But to be fair, what do you name? What is? Well, before we move on to this, do you want to finish up your road?
I think I was just kind of repeating myself, so okay. You're good to go.
I guess to sort of end that topic, we can agree that at the very least, cities need to improve the public transportation options for citizens who don't have cars, and maybe consider the pedestrian more in transportation.
Maybe, and also maybe big walks. Maybe they're not the right answer. But,
I would be down for some big walks.
Yeah. Oh,
so I think we can meet there.
Oh, look at that.
But to bring it back,
we're banning cars. We are banning cars. Pedestrians win.
I think that is the Davis and Aegis talking. But to bring it back to the mascots, what do you name the Pine Bush?
Bush whatever. The Pine Bush.
Pine Bush what?
I don't know. Hedge trimmers.
Actually, I just thought of a good one. Pine Bush Rangers.
Hey, that's pretty good. I like it. The Pine Bush Rangers. The pine. I mean, I think you can really do any noun, actually, any plural noun.
Yeah, but like I couldn't do like the Pine Bush Vikings. Like that just.
The Pine Bush.
That's just weird.
So it's like animals.
Pine Bush Pirates,
people, right? Pine Bush Pirates. Yes. The Pine Bush Pirates.
The Bush Pirates.
the
Pine Bush Bush Pilots.
Yes.
Well,
pilots.
That might like bush pilots. Like
what's a bush pilot?
Like in like the Australian outback, like the bush.
Oh, see, that's pretty cool.
Or like in Africa.
Bush pilot.
Bush
pilots?
like out in like the plains and things like that. No. So like you can like there are some places in like Africa and Australia, where like it's so flat, like you can just excuse my French, you can just land a plane.
Oh,
they're called like bush pilots.
Bush pilot.
Or people who live out in the bush.
Okay, so like your football team, like you just fly in and the plane lands on the 50-yard line and you jump out.
Not that we have any sort of relation to bush pilots. I just think that'd be funny, the Pine Bush bush pilots.
I think you're closer to bush pilots than to cavemen. So.
Well, we got some pretty stupid people in Pine Bush. So. Not gonna lie.
Damn.
Yeah, we have a. I'm joking, by the way. We have some very smart people in Pine Bush, but we do have. I think recently, when I was graduating from high school, I think heroin started going off like a bomb in some of the lower class neighborhoods of Pine Bush. I don't know if we've dealt with that problem, but
wow, yikes.
Yeah,
heroin. Okay.
Anyway, bring it back to more lighthearted area. I don't know what you would rename the Pine Bush people as. I do like the Pine Bush Rangers, though. Pine Bush Rangers seems good. Pine Bush, that's nature. And then Rangers, nature. So I think
Rangers, natures. There's the Pine Bush pine trees. Pine Bush pine cones. That's adorable. You could have like a person in a pine cone suit. Oh, I love it. I love it.
We would get harassed to no end.
Uh-huh.
We would be humiliated. Just absolutely humiliated at every turn. Like the Cupies. I mean, I guess they've been around. There's a local high school in Columbia called Hickman. It's Hickman High School Cupies, right?
Yeah.
It's like a baby.
It's a baby ghost, right? Or a baby doll. It's a baby doll ghost. Yeah, I don't know.
I always. It's like Saint Valentine. You know, like Saint Valentine is like a baby.
Uh-huh.
Or the baby with like the bow. I always imagined it like that. Like a Cupid was.
Like
an angel baby thing.
A bubbid. No, a cherub. I call it a bubbid.
Is that what those things are called?
It's a cherub, right? Yeah, the little angel babies with wings.
I didn't know they had names.
Oh, well, I think that's it.
Well, if that is the case, then yes. One of those. Like
Okay.
one of those, like a Cupid type thing. Anyway, if we were the pine cones, we would get dunked on like the Cupies get dunked on. Like, what the hell is a Cupid? Like, you know, that's such a dumb name.
Well, Stanford's the trees, right? It's the Stanford trees.
Are they really the Stanford trees?
Yeah.
Ah, well, that's kind of stupid.
I mean, I guess you just dunked on them, so maybe.
You know, if you
get
look it
dunked
up,
on.
I think if you look up Pine Bush Bushman, I think you'll see our mascot.
Hang on, I was also looking up words that start with bush.
Ah.
Pine bush, bushman, bush.
Go to images. No, that's not it.
Oh, okay. Also,
I mean that is. Well, I'm just saying like.
Oh, that's the okay.
That is Pine Bush. But.
Oh, look at that. Also, are we? I really gotta pee. I'm so sorry. Are we?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Do I have time to pee?
We're pretty much done. We could just.
Shit.
We,
Okay.
we could just wrap up.
Well, hold on. I found some good some bush words. It'd be the pine bush bushfires. The pine bush. Yeah, these are all bad. Bushels.
Pine Bush bushels.
Yes, the pine bush. Bush Rangers. The Bush Rangers or the Bushmasters. Bushnesses?
I think the problem is we gotta get rid of the bush.
Well, can't get rid of the bush. The bush is the best part.
Well, then then we gotta stick with the Pine Bush bush.
I mean, yeah, I guess that's not too bad. I'd be a hypocrite. I like the bush. The Bush Ranger men.
No.
Yeah. Stop thinking about this.
Yeah. You know, Pine Bush. If you wanna hit me up, I can be the middleman. I know a few graphic designers.
Oh.
I can set you up with a whole new logo and team.
And I know bush words. I got plenty of words that start with bush.
I have a dictionary and a thesaurus all
Yeah.
in one right here.
So you know, I got good sports team names. Yeah, Pine Bush football people. You know, that's a good one.
Awful.
The players.
Disgusting.
Damn.
Well, Alex, as per usual, we just did 2 hours.
Yeah, we did it.
We did it.
We did it indeed. My bladder can tell. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I gotta
same.
stop talking about how I'm peeing.
No,
I gotta pee, not peeing right now. Okay.
I hope you weren't peeing on your exercise ball that he decided to sit on today.
I'm not. It would be a bummer. Although I think perks of the exercise ball is that the pee would wash right off, real easy.
It wouldn't off my carpet though.
Oh, that's true. But yeah, that's true. That's true.
Alex, do you have anything else to say to the folks? Say
I don't-
to the good old boys and girls.
Drop a comment with your favorite potential sports team plural noun, because there's a lot of really good hidden gems right there.
Yeah, please comment in the comments what you think the Pine Bush Bushmen should be renamed to.
Exactly. Yeah, give us some suggestions. We'll send them right to the Pine Bush principal.
Yeah, they're gonna be like, who? You? Who are you? I don't know you.
Names? What?
We're fine.
What's wrong with Bushman?
Bush
Bush folks.
Well, I guess let's just wrap this up. This has been episode 5 of A Hill to Die On. Next week I believe we're gonna have Michael on, our friend Michael, and that should be fun. And the week after that, we'll have Rebecca. After that, I'm not sure what's gonna happen. We'll see how it goes. We'll play it by ear. Hopefully, we can get back on schedule. If not, I mean, it's all right. no biggie. We will do our best to get those episodes out to you. All right.
It's been real.
It's been real. I'm Matthew.
I'm Alessandro. Which one do I say? Because you call me Alex, but sometimes I go by Alessandro too. But.
Alex, honestly, go with whatever your heart desires. I think I just do Alex because it's quicker.
I'm A.L. Sandro. It's my writer name.
A.L. Sandro.
Yeah. It's pretty good, right?
No, that's pretty bad. If you were like, oh, call me Al, like, I'd be like, oh, okay, I respect. That's pretty cool.
What about Sandy? Someone suggested Sandy once because like Sandro, no, feels kind of cool. Sandy, you know?
Maybe Sandra, but even then, no. I think Alessandro, Al, Alex. I mean, it's your name. You do whatever you want. But my
classic three. Yeah.
My suggestion to you is to stick with that core group of names.
Okay.
You know, if you want to start calling yourself Sandy, by all means. I won't call you Sandy, but I respect your decision to do that. You know.
That's fair. I'll keep you updated on what I decide. But yeah, Alessandro, that's me signing off.
All right.
Sounds like you like that one.
You know, do whatever you want with your name. Do whatever you want with your name. I've said my 2 cents. I've said my piece. All right. We will see you in the next episode. Goodbye, everybody.
Adios.